What are your favorite New Year's movies?
All right, welcome. Oh, we can't hear you. You're muted. There we go.
Not letting that last name go, buddy. How you doing?
It's so hard. it's like
not.
2 names.
You know what the worst is I get all the bills I pay get my last name wrong. All the junk mail, they get my last name right. I don't get it. Not into it. All right, I got some New Year's movies for everybody if you're interested.
All right, let's see.
Rocking my New Year's Evil shirt. So basically, there's a kind of a staple, okay? Most romantic film of all time is An Affair to Remember, New Year's film, okay? I'm going to segue over to When Harry Met Sally, a lot of nods to Affair to Remember. Then you go to Sleepless.
Movie.
Then you go to Sleepless in Seattle, which literally takes plot points from An Affair to Remember. So if you find yourself alone on New Year's Eve, this is a great trilogy to masturbate to. So,
yeah, just don't do Meg Ryan's later movies.
No, you might need Viagra up. God bless. No disrespect, but to disrespect. Okay, so we've got some movies that Suzanne's going to throw on. Susanna, what do you got? Here we go. I'm leaning for the image. Bam.
You got to lean the other side.
God damn it, I never get it right. So Bloody New Year is literally a fucked up movie. A bunch of Brits go to an island. It's also known as Horror Hotel. And they stay at a hotel, and the hotel's trying to kill them. It starts off slow. It's real experimental, and the hotel starts throwing everything at them and literally the kitchen sink. And it actually starts getting really good. So if you're sipping on something or smoking on something or whatever you're doing, the movie actually gets enjoyable. It's from I think 87, and it's a pretty bad movie, but it's also charmingly good. So
87, so that's before mine and John's time.
Precisely. That's right. Let me lean.
Back with leg warmers. I heard.
I heard too.
Yeah,
the big hair I heard about.
So this is an early movie by Roger Spottiswoode, the director. He went on to do Turner and Hooch and Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Nice.
Wait a minute, he did Turner and Hooch?
Yeah, but he also went on to do one of the I think Tomorrow Never Dies with Pierce Brosnan.
Wow.
There's hope. This is a Jamie Lee Curtis screamer.
Did he direct it?
He did. Yeah, he did. This is a Jamie Lee Curtis screamer. It's basically teens on a train. There's a serial killer. The end. That's it. Okay, short and sweet.
Amen.
What's the next one? Same kind of concept. Basically, this is like American Bandstand in a hotel. There's a murderer. The end. That's it. Awesome.
I love your in-depth analysis.
This is your analysis. Your synopses, Anthony, are like Kevin giving improv suggestions.
Well, I didn't tell you how it ended.
That's true.
I didn't have the end.
That's true.
Let's be fair. He is limited by the plot of the movie.
No.
Yes.
You can't not ring in the New Year's without this classic. Now, what's interesting about this movie to me is it's actually a fantastically well-made, well-acted movie by John Landis. He directed, starring these famous cats. The only problem I have is the third act becomes a super SNL sketch, and it almost doesn't match the film. I like the entire movie, but once they get on the train and they're trying to do that switcheroo with the suitcase, it really feels like a total throwback to SNL, which is not a bad thing. It just feels almost out of place with how, I don't want to say highbrow the movie is or refined the original, or I guess the first and second act is. But regardless of my beef with it, it's a great New Year's Eve movie. It's a great movie year round nonetheless. And that's on my New Year's picks.
That's one of my favorites.
That's awesome, Anthony.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm actually writing that down because I need to see that again.
Yeah, me too.
This is an honorable mention. This is an anthology with 4 different directors. And as you can see down at the bottom, you'll see, Robert Rodriguez and Tarantino who went on to fame. But it's actually a pretty enjoyable flick. And Tim Roth really does hold it on his shoulders because
fantastic actor.
Yeah, and he's not, he's literally stepping into 4 different directors' visions and work, patterns. So he had a lot to work with. It wasn't like an easy picture for him to just come in and out. But I think it's a forgotten film, but it's one to be, kind of remembered.
Hey, John, do you remember why you decided you want to see this movie? I do.
Which one? 4 Rooms?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Marissa Tomei and Madonna.
The Coven of Witches. Yeah.
They were so hot back then. Oh my God.
God, I don't even remember that. I remember because I saw it, but the only one I remember is the Tarantino one.
Yeah.
It has such a funny payoff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Isn't it where Tarantino kind of bumped him up a little bit in the film world, didn't it?
Actually, it didn't.
No.
Really?
This was an unseen, probably considered a bomb.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was considered a bomb.
Yeah.
But wasn't it one of his first big movies?
No, Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs.
What was before that?
Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs.
Well, that was before? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And Dust Till Dawn might be in there. But yeah, 4 Rooms, unfortunately.
Did you see the Grindhouse thing he did with Rodriguez?
Yes.
3 times in the theater. Yeah. I had a standee in my house. I loved it. I wanted a sequel. Nobody saw it.
Yeah, I got to see it again because I hated, but I got to watch it again. But I loved Rodriguez's. Yeah,
at the end of the day, it was just fun. The fake trailers were awesome. I still am waiting for Eli Roth to do a Thanksgiving Day feature film. Yeah, because he made like a fake trailer. But it was just a fun experience.
Machete came from those trailers, right?
It did. Yeah. And Rodriguez delivered. The first Machete was pretty good. The second one was silly, but at the end of the day, I hate that phrase, by the way. It reminds me of enthusiasm. But yeah, man, it was a good experiment. And unfortunately, it just came out on Easter weekend. It wasn't marketed as properly as it should have been because nobody knew you were getting really 2 films in one.
Right.
They didn't get it. And yeah.
Yeah, it was probably confusing to the average moviegoer, for sure.
Not me. I was there. I was like,
no, I did enjoy it, even if I didn't enjoy Tarantino's half. But I love From Dusk Till Dawn, another one those 2 worked on together.
Oh, it's great.
I remember that got shit canned because the critics are like, it's two movies. It doesn't know if it's horror. It doesn't know if it's crime. And Tarantino loves, who I love, Abbott and Costello. And one of the reasons I love Abbott and Costello is Meet Frankenstein, which is one of the best genre combos of all time, horror and comedy.
Yeah.
And they both work. The horror works in that movie.
Yep.
And the comedy works. And I show that to my son too much. And and Tarantino loves that. He loves Abbott and Costello, and he references that movie when he talks about From Dusk Till Dawn and other genre mashups as well. But I always thought that I love the mashup of the crime and the horror.
Absolutely. In fact, he wanted the marketing initially, and they actually listened to him, thankfully, not to the critics, but basically they wanted to sell it as a crime film. Okay, because they wanted the audience to be in the shoes of the Gecko Brothers.
Right.
Because if you're in the shoes of the Gecko Brothers and you're, in some titty bar in Mexico that happens to be vampires, it's going to turn like that. You're going to be as like, what the fuck as they are.
Yeah.
And they weren't really a fan of that in marketing. So initially they did that, and then they gave out the goods. Yeah, like after the opening weekend, they gave up the goods. It worked against them, but I think it became, I don't want to say cult, but it found its audience for sure.
Now, how come no one ever gave the secret away to the Crying Game? But then they fucking blow it on Dusk Till Dawn. Fuck you.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
That's like the Sixth Sense. I was blown away because I didn't hear. I went early to see it, so I was blown away. So Yeah, you can't give away that ending. How do you do that with? Anyway, let's continue. That is a topic.
Now I'm
for
thinking of The
discussion.
Sixth Sense and how I watched it, and then I'm like, bullshit. He was having conversations with them, and then I went back. I'm like, oh, they started the scene with him just sitting there.
Yeah.
They covered their bases.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think I was writing movies at the time, so I was more easily fooled.
I think everybody was fooled on that one. Mostly.
Yeah.
So.
But all right, let's. What's the next one? You got more?
Oh no, man, that's it.
That's it. Okay, great.
That's it.
That was great.
It's like one night. You beat off to the trilogy, and then you just kind of burn out to the whole thing. You know? That's it. That's all you need.
And
I gotta show you my horror comedy, buddy. You gotta read mine.
What do you got? Just send it my way. I'm a reader.
Oh yeah, it's good. I read it.
John read it. Yeah. John read it. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's gotta be done right. But I'm excited. I've got the back end money and the distribution for the level of money that we want to make the movie for. The distributor has pretty much consistently made the money back. So, and the scripts he's made the money back for have not been, the best movies, but they make this script is way better. So we're very hopeful about it. So,
awesome.
So I'll send you that. Anyway, guys, have a happy New Year.
Likewise.
This is a great show. Hey, John, you're always so insightful. I love when you jump in and you put all that stuff in there. It's a pleasure to listen to you speak about movies and stuff.
Oh, thanks, Danny. I love you, dude, and I'll do this show anytime. I'm so glad I was able to do it. It's good to see you.
Next time I'll be in the studio. There'll be less quirks and stuff, less mess ups. But overall, I think it was a good show.
Yeah.
Overall, I think it was a good show.
I was watching it.
We got to get Kevin. We got to get the other half of Kevin Skull in the show at some point.
Oh, it's our good luck.
I was in their massive green room just drinking the entire time. So it's like, you may want to pepper my segment. Just pepper it.
And it just got funnier and funnier as you were drinking.
I know. I mean, yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. No,
all right, guys. Thank you so much. Happy New Year. For those of you watching, we're going to have all the information where you can follow John and Brian and the rest of us. Guys, thank you so much for a great show. Susanna, come on in. This is our engineer, Susanna. We can't hear you.
Hello, gentlemen.
You know what's funny?
Happy New Year.
Every time I have my mic muted, I'm like, I'm gonna beat them before they tell me it's fucking muted. You're like beating me every time. So this green room has everything in it.
It does.